Hi, I'm here for Technique Junkies design team, and I'm going to be using the Inside Out Young at Heart set of 10 sentiments to create my card. These are funny sentiments, so the outside says one thing and the inside says something funny. So, for example, young at heart, slightly older in other places. The outside sentiment says, you're the man. The inside says, an old man, but still the man. The outside sentiment says, happy birthday. Inside says, thank you for always being older than me. Outside says, age is just a number. Inside says, in your case, a really high one. And finally, you're not old, you're 25 plus shipping and handling. And that's the one we're going to use today. I already created one card with the sentiment young at heart, slightly older in other places. And for that card, I used, here it is, I used a stamp that was released last month called Blooming Heart. And I think this little card turned out so cute. I'll have a link below in my description box for the video that you can go to see how I made the blue card. But now we're going to make another card, again, using the Inside Out Young at Heart. We also are going to use Shimmering Bliss Sprays. The colors we're using are Just Squeezed and Thulian Pink. I just want to let you know that I do have a coupon code. It's TJ10 Tracy. If you use that code when you check out, you'll get 10% off your non-sale items. And also, please leave a comment if you do go to the Technique Junkies website and make purchases. Please leave a comment in the comment box to let them know that I sent you over. We're also going to use a stencil from A Colorful Life Designs. This is called Big Candles. I have a discount code for Colorful Life Designs. My coupon code for Colorful Life Designs is TracyFan10 for 10% off. Now, I'm going to be laying the stencil right on top of the cardstock. I'm just trying to decide which direction I want to go. I decide that landscape is the direction I want to have my card facing. And first I'm going to use the Just Squeezed, and then I'll go in with the Thulian Pink. You can apply as much or as little as you'd like. I take a piece of paper just to pull a little bit of that Shimmery Bliss Spray off of that stencil, and this is what I get. A very nice result. Those candles look awesome. I'm going to go in with my second attempt at this, and I apply a little bit more Shimmery Bliss Spray this time. My only concern with applying so much is that it will bleed under. Let's go ahead and just blot some of that Shimmery Bliss up. This is just some copy paper, and those can be used, by the way. You can use those pieces of paper that you pull I call it pulling the Bliss Spray up off of the stencil, because they look pretty cool too. All right, this time trying again. The one that I just did had a little bit of bleeding under the candles, outside the candles. This one looks much better. And then I'm going to try it on my desk, because I think that maybe my splat box is a little bit wonky and not laying flat. I used a paper towel that time, and that one looks pretty good too. There's just one little spot where the Bliss Spray just kind of leaked underneath the stencil. You can also use Pixie Spray to get your stencil to lay as flat as possible. Pixie Spray is a low tack adhesive. You would spray on one side of the stencil, and it would keep it attached to the paper for you to do your technique. So here we have some finished panels that we created. I'm really pleased with how these turned out, especially these first two. You can see how the stencils didn't have any of that bliss bleed. Now this one, there was a little bit of a bleed, but you know, it's not that bad. You can see how it shines. There's so much mica inside the bliss spray that it gets really shiny. And this one had a lot of bliss spray put on it. You can tell there's a lot on there, but actually it turned out pretty nice. I'm pleased with how all these panels turned out. One thing about using bliss spray with stencils, it's real quick and easy. I always say that stencils and sprays are just a match made in heaven. And you can get some really cool looking effects, especially with the bliss sprays, because they have so much mica in them. And they're so shiny. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and use my Rabbit Hole Designs telescopic embossing tool. Then I have Versamark ink. I'll go ahead and ink the sentiments. I'm not too worried about if I get this straight because I am going to be trimming this. So let's go ahead and emboss this with the sparkly gold embossing powder. It's from Nuvo. It's called Gold Enchantment. That's the name of the embossing powder. And now I'm just going to use a coffee filter to collect that back, put it back in the container. Try not to spill any. Those containers are mighty small. A lot of times I do not have a much success getting the embossing powder back in. So I'm taking my heat tool on the back of the panel first. The reason I'm doing that is there's so much sparkle and glitter in this embossing powder that if you apply your heat tool directly to it right off the bat, it's very likely that a lot of that glitter will just poof spray away. By applying heat to the back of your panel, you are heating it up without directly putting a lot of air onto it. So that's the idea behind that. I've got these stitched rectangle dies from Paper Rose. And I'm going to use these to cut out not only that panel, but a piece of copper colored foil cardstock. I just have this packet of foil cardstock that I got from Michael's. I love the way this copper looks. It's got an orangish tone. So I think it goes really well with the just squeezed shimmering bliss spray. So I went over to my die cut machine and I cut this panel, and that will serve as my matte layer. That looks awesome. So I got my sentiment here. I have it trimmed out, and I'm just thinking about what kind of matte layer I could use for that sentiment. But first I'll go ahead and trim the inside of the card sentiment. The whole release this month from Technique Junkies was birthday themed. It was a great new release. Everybody loved it. And I'll have a link at the end of this video to my live unboxing, which is a video that I did of all of the stamps. I did a walkthrough. So this is a piece of scrap paper that has just squeezed shimmery bliss spray on it. And I'm going to be using that for my matte layer. I think that, you can't get a more perfect match. If you ever use shimmery bliss sprays, don't forget that you can create your own paper just using shimmery bliss spray. I'm going to use my corner chomper. I can't talk today. And I'm just going to use that for my background. My matte layer. I think it matches so perfectly because it's the same color that we used on our candles. And I think I decided to use a little bit of foam tape, but after I adhere the panel, and this is when I remember I have to spray this with some hairspray because there's so much mica powder in the spray. You want to spray it with something to make it like bind. Hairspray does the trick. I've got this big old bottle of Aquanet, and I sprayed the panel away from my desk and let that dry. Then I'll be able to finish putting this all together. Off camera, I put foam tape on the back of the sentiment panel, and in a minute we will adhere that to the Shimmery Bliss panel. Let's go ahead, now that I sprayed this with hairspray and it's dry, we will apply this panel to the matte layer. I do like that copper foil cardstock. I think it just matches perfectly. And I'm just using a tape runner for this, the back of this. Yeah, but as I was saying, the release is really fun this month with all the birthday themed sentiments and images. And there is a Gotta Have It All bundle where you can save if you purchase all of the new release. I think it's a great deal, a good bargain, and I like every single stamp that was released this month. I think I'm going to be getting use out of it, all of them, over and over again every month for all the birthday cards that I send out. All right, I took that backer off of that foam tape. I did that off camera because it's tedious. Takes some time to do. I'll go ahead and put this sentiment again, which is popped up with foam tape, directly on top of this matte layer. Okay, and then I can put this onto the panel. So stay tuned. At the end of this video, I will have links to other videos that feature the Technique Junkies new release. And in my description box, I will have a description of all of the items that I used, as well as links that you can use. If you use those links, they are my affiliate links. I get a very small commission, and it doesn't cost you anything to use my affiliate links. I would greatly appreciate it if you would use them, if you decide there's something that you would like. If you go ahead and make a purchase over at Technique Junkies, do me a favor and put in the comment box that you were referred by me, so that they know that you basically watched this video and saw something that you liked, and you were inspired to purchase from them. All right, we're just going to adhere this to an A2 card base. Also, at the end of the video, I will have some still photos. You can get a better look at the card that way. And if you know anybody who has an upcoming birthday and they like to have fun, I would highly recommend the Young at Heart sentiment set. There's so much fun you can have. They're very playful. I just wanted to let you know that off camera, I trimmed some of the candles. So I had those 4 different panels, and the one that all of them that I sprayed with Shimmery Bliss, the one there was like a little bit of a bleed under the candle, I used that one. I cut the candles out, and those cut out candles I used inside the card. All right, so you're looking at the outside of the card. Now let's look at the inside. I like the way that I used those 3 little candles just to accent that sentiment. Here's another shot of how shimmery it looks, and the Shimmery Bliss spray that I used. Thanks so much for watching. If you're new, please subscribe to my channel and ring the bell so that you're notified of all future videos. Everybody, please give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment. All of those things are super important to the YouTube algorithm, and I appreciate you for supporting my channel. Thanks, everyone. Have a hopeful day. Bye-bye.